Thank you. We will call this meeting to order. Thanks for being here, everybody. Sorry to get started a little bit late. We wanted to make sure we had everybody we needed at the table. All right. I'm going to ask Sue if she would do roll call for our board members.
Autumn Henry.
Here.
Andrea Fick.
Here.
Chuck Melke.
Here.
Kim Winter.
Here.
Ken Engel.
Here.
Carrie Germain.
Here. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Next on our agenda, we have the proposal discussion for our purchase agreement proposal for Morrish Elementary. And everybody's had the information in advance. And what we'd like to do is discuss the new proposal. And we are expecting our attorney to arrive. He may be held up, but just so he can answer any legal questions that we might have. And then we are going to provide responses to the proposal. And so, Mr. Kitchen, if you want to start.
Yeah, unique situation, and I'm sure out to the public this looks like an official board meeting. This is a committee meeting that we're in currently. The board I've supplied all the documents to you, the lease escrow, the holdback, the official proposal, and then Troon's response. And so what I'm hoping tonight is that we can clarify any questions that you might have. If Phil doesn't show up, then I'll be able to take questions back to him and clarify. And then if you would give me an official response, either way to FAGIA, whether that is no, we're not going to sell, or if you want to ask for more money or more time or something like that, so that I can go back and present that to FAGIA.
All right. So I'm going to start. Why don't we start, Ken? Do you have any questions about the new proposal? You need.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Normally my mouth is big enough. Or loud enough. I think we need to be able to keep an open line of communication for the timeline, depending on if the sale would take place. We would need to hang on to the school for a longer period of time. I also would like us to go back and I don't believe, well, I shouldn't say I don't believe, I don't know, because we don't have any documentation of any negotiations on how this number was arrived to. It sounds like the number of the $40 million was arrived to because that was what we guesstimated a new school would cost to build. Of the three proposals that were looked at, for whatever reason, previous administration had picked the middle one. We already know the middle one has more money involved in it, but the fact there's no sewer system out there. There's also, I think there's some issues with the purchasing of the property. It appears in the drawing that I was finally given, there's 3 retention ponds. I think only one belongs to the district. The other 2 retention ponds belong to the neighborhood that's going to be constructed there. I don't know why we would put their retention ponds on our property. And also the roadways that were going to have to be constructed, that's not in there. So at this point in time, I think we have to look at the new building, what it's really truly going to cost. And maybe go back and negotiate a different number with these folks.
I believe the initial proposal that had that neighborhood in there, I think that's dead. Just the proposal alone that's here does not include that land or anything. We have a different committee looking at purchase of land. This is just solely for the sale of Morrish. It's not connected to any new building at this point.
No, but to get a number for,
yes,
we don't want to sell this for $40 million and go in debt for $60.
Right.
So I mean that's and we also know I don't know the exact number, but we also know they're sitting on money. So I think we might kind of have the cart in front of the horses. I think we have to go back and look at what the new building's going to cost, where it's going to be located. As I mentioned to you the other day, and it was no secret. I don't know if you shared it, but we talked about the property over on. Someone else brought it up. The property over on Morrish Road by the tracks. And like I said, I was going to call and ask, and I thought, well, you're doing just what you complained about what was done. So I didn't call, and I mentioned it to you. So, like I said, this isn't a no for me, but at this given moment, we still have the questions of what is the new building going to cost. And I think when it gets down to that end of the table, I think Chuck had some questions about the building itself that the $40 million bid was on, as far as what the construction of it was, brick or whatever and all that. I hadn't even got into that. But anyhow, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is it's not a yes or a no. It's what are we going to be in debt for with the new building, and where is it going to go?
Well,
At this moment, that's all I have.
we already know from Jamie's number that we had to pay back some bond money. That was like $2 million. So that was, we needed to add that on top of the 40 million. But I believe I read somewhere, I know it's not part of this offer, but we have to know when we sell Morrish what we're doing with that money up front, right?
You don't now.
We don't. So we could say we want to sell it. We want 5 years occupancy. We could spend 2 years figuring out our builder, the type of building, the property to build it on. And if we didn't, we could use that money in our existing buildings.
Yes.
Okay. I thought I saw in a different document somewhere we
There
had
was.
to know up front.
Yes. The first proposal had money linked to you would get this release if you did this, but that's not in this proposal. In this proposal, if you say yes, you get 35 million up front. 5 million would remain in escrow until we vacate the premise.
But we don't, as a board, like bond money, we don't have to say up front when we get this into our account, the 35 million. We don't have to say it's going towards a new building right up front.
You don't have to even do a new building.
Okay. I think that there's
I'm just saying.
the pre-closing election, that's 30 days before closing, which I estimated as Christmas Eve. Construct a new facility for its operations, build out an existing facility that it purchases or leases to house its operations, or merge its operations that existed at the property as of closing with another existing school in the applicable school district.
To your point, Ken, yes, I think more homework needs to be done. If we're not going to, we were presented a potential builder, a potential piece of land. We have more homework, but if we decided to go down the road of selling 2 years of interest on $35 million, will give us more money to work with. Just 2 cents. But we can counter the occupancy. We can counter the price. We can do whatever we want. Same. It's a good chunk, though. I mean, we give away $20,000 last year in the O'Brien Trust, and we're ahead of where we started.
I just want, none of that is contingent on if funds are available, us getting the remainder of the 40 million or after the 35. Because I know before it was contingent on if funds were available. Like they would release the funds, but if the funds weren't there, we wouldn't get paid essentially.
But they're saying they'll give us $35,000 at closing.
Yeah, 35 million upfront. So that other 5 million, I'm just making sure that we're going to see that it's no matter what, we're going to see the rest of it. Like I'm not going to agree to sell something for 40 million and then only get 35 for it.
Being held in escrow means that the purchaser is going to bring $40 million to the table the day of closing.
Yeah.
And Cislo Title is going to hold on to $5 million of that
Then how were they saying that it was funds were
I don't know.
going to be released upon availability? Like I didn't understand
But being held in escrow means that buyer has
that
given
part.
them up at the day of closing.
I think what Autumn's trying to say is that the $5 million, remember, a lot of this has to depend on the state and how much money they have left in that particular account. So correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
That $5 million may not be there in 2 years.
No, the title company is going to hold it. The
Okay.
day of closing, the buyer brings all of their money to the table.
So why can't we hold it and put it into? I don't get that.
It gets held by the title company. So in case, God forbid, we don't relinquish the building, right? So it's basically a holdover that we're gonna relinquish the building in the same condition that they last looked at it.
Michigan data right now.
And on top of that, I was just saying I don't think 40 million is enough, just based on the fact that Lurvy was going to lock in the 40 million if we choose not to go the Lurvy route.
4.5% on 35 million is about 1.2, 1.3, about 1.5 million a year. Even if we hung on to it for 3 or 4 years, the price of building is going to go up way more than what we're going to make on interest. So I'd be careful if people start saying we're going to make $1 million. I'm just doing math in my head. 4% is what we get right now. I think that's what Jamie has her money invested in. That's safe.
And
So if you get 4 to 5% on 35 million, that's 1.5. Well, I'll just say 1.5 million, 1.6. In 3 years, that's 4.8 million. At 4.8 million, our cost is going to go way up over that if we build a building. If we do it, or we put it into other buildings.
but on top of that, like that money, as far as I'm concerned, it's not part of the deal. Like
No, it's not.
Yeah.
You're right.
So I don't.
When I was reading through some of the emails, I saw $48 million. There was $48 million in there. And then somehow when we got whittled down to 40.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that happened. Does anybody know on the board?
I saw that too.
I don't know, because there was a $48 million.
One of the other.
One of the emails said we're going to have $48 million. This is what it's going to cost us to build a school. I'm just going from memory because there's 500 emails.
That was Alyssa Bouchard who, through Barton Mallow, was able to pull numbers together and estimate.
That was
in the
Rod
emails between Rod
and Tyler.
and you might have been you were CC'd on it. There was a bunch of people in that email, and it said they wanted $48 million. Then they agreed on 40. What Alyssa said is that she believes the cost would be much higher than the 40 million to build it. And I'm still concerned that, and we're talking only about the sale, so we got to be careful. We'll stay on the sale part. Regardless of what we sell it for, we're going to have to figure out, because the data you sent us on the school kids, school of choice, and kids in the district, out of district, all that kind of stuff, we have to figure out how many kids we're going to house there, have a building appropriately built, if we even need to build a building. And then, if that's even we sell the building, I'm getting the cart in front of the horse. And then, I think we need to go to an outside person, and I don't know how much that will cost us, if anybody knows, to get some type of price on a legitimate size school. And Gaines has turned down the property where the school was going to be built at with the subdivision. I don't know if that included the school and the subdivision, but yeah, it was a development. I think he has for the entire development. So we can't build it there, at least currently, without reapplying. And then the only other place was somebody offered 100 acres, right?
Yeah.
Which I never saw that until I saw the emails. And who owns that 100 acres? Do we know?
I could find the name, but I'm not.
Was it Carlson? Does that sound right?
Weird. Yes, I believe that was right.
Okay.
I think we talked about it being on Grand Blanc Road. Was it?
No, he was on Morrish near the railroad tracks over by the old grain elevator. That's where it was. And Ken's right. We're going to have to figure out what's going to cost, and cost is going to be significantly higher in 3 years, even if we get rolling now. So, and I think Dave Lurvy, and I can't speak for him, I'm just going to assume for what I've heard here, he was trying to cut us a deal to make this deal happen. You sell this, I'll build you this for X amount of dollars, and I'll guarantee the price. And we didn't have the sewers in there, as I mentioned before, the roadways, some other infrastructure, which he may have had in there, but we didn't see it. So I don't know if we want to entertain this till we can figure out what's it going to cost us to build a new facility. I mean, we can make a decision now. My decision would be no. That we don't sell it till we figure out what we're doing with facilities, cost, location, and what the cost would be, we'll say 2.5 to 3 years from now, if we decide to build a building and where we're going to put it. There's a lot of little legwork that has to be done there. And I know that's part of my committee, right? I'm in charge of the building committee and the property committee. But I've been looking around. I don't know where we can get 20 acres at. That's reasonable. So we're back to this now, $40 million. What do you guys want to do?
And then I'm looking at this too, and it's like, so while we're leasing Morrish or renting Morrish, there's a bunch of costs include like that we would also have to be responsible for paying within that. So it's not like,
Yeah, we have to lease it.
yeah, which, yeah.
So right now, our bond principal repayment has been calculated at $2.5 million and change. We are responsible for insurance to cover the building, and our district insurer, SCCS, will not insure the building if it's owned by someone else. Is that what I read? So we would have to, they suggested we possibly consider paying the insurance premium through the seller's insurance provider, so that the building is covered appropriately. The purchase of land came up, the sewer, water, electricity, the roads, any construction overruns and contingencies, the removal of the district property, which would probably be minor, but still has to be considered, especially if we're taking anything that's hardwired, or legal fees, and then building repairs prior to vacating the building. There could be some damage to the building, and that depends on what the seller is planning to do with it. Other expenses that we haven't thought about yet. But at this point,
That's a good point, the insurance, Carrie.
yeah,
Can I just stop you real quick? So
sure.
if we're at 40 million and we know that there's 2.5 owed on our debt for the bond, we're probably looking at $4.5 million just to be on the safe side, because they're gonna get us on insurance, any repairs. All of the buildings in relatively good shape, but regardless, so we're gonna be on the safe side. Let's say $1 million. Yeah, $4 million. So now we're down to $36 million to build a building.
So I think, Kim, you had suggested at our last meeting, maybe not. We've had so many conversations over the last 2 months, that we go higher, that we ask for more money.
Yes, we have to pay all the
Yeah, I would say we would need at least 50 before I would consider it. I mean, I guess I wonder, when they came to us, did they originally start with this $40 million offer? Or
Yes.
was that that was their starting offer, 40 million?
That was a starting offer with the board, but there was conversations that was taking place with Rod before that.
That
Yeah,
builders.
we don't know what the exact amount was, because it was never done in public. So we don't know what exactly was offered or what conditions were met or what the price was, because remember, that was done somewhere else, not in our eyes. So and Jim's right, we have a $40 million offer to us that we've seen. So whatever discussion they had, I would just ignore that.
Yeah.
And we need to, I hate to go to, I feel like I'm going backwards, but I feel like we just say no, or we give a $50 million offer, as you said. But I'm even apprehensive about that, because you start taking 3, 4, 5 million away, and now we're down to 45, and then we're looking at building a building, and it's 52 million, and we're going back to these fine people asking for a $6 or $7 million additional bond, and I'm not willing to do that. Me personally, you guys can ask, but I'm not going to ask. And I just think that we need to. I wish I had a magic ball and just say, this is what it's going to cost for a 48,000 square foot building or a 52,000 square foot building. But then we can't even do that because we have school of choice. So we kind of got to figure that out. How many kids are we going to want in that building? How many kids don't we want in that building? And how much is our district growing? I've looked at the stats. The district isn't growing at all.
We don't have to build a new building.
No, I know that, but that's not entirely not true, though, Andre, because you have people that moved in that area: Lynn Hill, Lindenwood Farms, Floria, Coventry. There's 7 subdivisions within 1 mile of that area. And to rip a school out of there and tell those subdivisions, well, we're sorry, we're closing the school down. You're going to have to drive across town. We're going to bus your kids around town. I'm telling you what, if I was a young parent, I would be pitchforks and tar because I bought my house there. I made an investment there. And I know it's not their control or our control, but we have to kind of figure out, that's one of our largest population groups. If you guys look at the geography of Swartz Creek and the way our school district is, and you look at those 7 or 8 subdivisions, they produce 300 to 500 kids. Now, some of them are shipped to other school districts. They decide to move to another, they decide to use school of choice to go to another district. So I don't know if that's fair, because I'd be unhappy if I bought a house in Windermere or Lynn Hill and say, well, the school is just a mile down the road. This is nice. And then if we don't build another school and we are forced to sell, then they can only go to Elms, Gaines, or Cyrene would only be close. And those are still, Elms would be the closest bet, right, Jim? Geographic. Does everybody agree with that, Ken? Is that what you think? If you were at Morrish, would be Elms Road would be the next closest.
Right. And
I'm
between,
thinking like it will.
So, but you're still making then the families, you're forcing them to move their kids. When I bought my house on Miller Road, I loved it because my kids walked to Cyrene. And then for you to come to me and say, well, we're getting rid of Cyrene School. Well, that was the reason why I bought my house. It was on site because my kids could walk to school and I could monitor them. So I don't know. I'm not saying that we don't have to build a school, but just to say outright we're not going to build it would be disingenuous for our taxpayers and the people that live in those neighborhoods. I guess that's not fair to do that to them if they move there.
so we really haven't talked about additions to existing buildings.
I did talk about it for the meetings. I said we could, yeah.
But it's, like how much would that cost? Between Elms and Morrish, I think we have close to 900 kids. Is that correct? And I mean, you just said it, Chuck. It's not that far away from Morrish.
No, that would be the closest school.
Yeah.
That would be the closest school to Morrish.
I don't know how viable that option is, but as an example.
Well, then we should put that on the table to say, what would it cost to build a new school? Maybe not 65,000 square feet, but something a little bit more. I know they wanted a bunch. They actually set that school for 750 students. I looked at the schematics, but that was to have a lot of kids coming from school of choice. So I guess we have to decide how many kids is the facility going to hold, and then build accordingly. And if we went 50 kids more would be okay because the population is dwindling. It's not increasing unless we take in school of choice. So these are issues that we're going to have to discuss, because how do we come up with a plan for a new school if we don't even know what we're housing there? I mean, I'm okay putting a little addition on Elms Road and a little addition on Cyrene or something, and maybe, but at the end of the day, and I know some of the people were upset that if we did build a new school, it's only a half mile or a mile away from the mega site, if it did go up, which now I understand that too. I don't want my kid right next to the mega site.
This goes back to, do we leave a school there?
Well, I don't know.
I'm just
They don't have a current site. I mean, I'm sure they'll bring something in, but right now they don't have anything.
I'm just looking
ahead,
at this.
I'm
This
sorry.
is just insane. Like
We can ask for 50.
You can ask for whatever we want.
Inspection of premises. The tenant shall permit landlord to enter the premises during normal business hours for the purpose of inspecting the premises. Like, no, it's a school. You're not gonna come when you deem necessary to inspect the premises. Like, it's just stuff like that just disrupts the kids, the teachers, and what have you. And this is just the lease agreement. It's not the purchase agreement. I
highly doubt they're going to schedule their walkthrough.
Well,
this
we
school
can
day.
doubt, but I mean,
You know what I mean?
I wouldn't want to get caught assuming, because
Madam President, to stay on point, then we think we have two options. We say no, or we ask for 50 or 55 million, and more.
More
Yeah,
years,
yes, thank you,
for
Jim.
sure.
And a couple more years, and then just go with that. I mean,
And right now, they have us evacuating the building, I believe, on August 31st, 27.
yeah, that's
And we had talked about countering with maybe 5 years.
yeah, and we're not going to be putting kids in modular offices like I went to school. I remember those days we were in modular offices. We had to go out the hallway, get bundled up, run to the modular office. Does anybody remember those days? Yeah, I remember them quite well. And we're not going to do that to the kids, so or our teachers for that matter, because that's not good working conditions. No bathrooms nearby or anything.
Sorry, Kim, go ahead.
I do have one other comment, maybe. This is under possession of property. It says a certification has that seller is not a foreign person as such. Terms is defined in section 445 of the Internal Revenue Code. This is on page 3. So that means they're saying as long as we're not a foreign entity, or
We're just asking up front. It's asked on every.
Yeah, it's standard if you have any.
okay, but
It'll
we
ask the
don't
same
have
thing about
any.
the buyer.
But we don't have any guarantee that they're not going to sell it to a foreign entity, because I mean, is there? I mean,
There's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
You sold
we're
it,
selling to this group and this group only. What they do with it is we can't judge our decision on what they're going to do with it. That's discrimination.
that's also a concern to me, because I've heard. Okay, I'm going to stop there.
But that is standard language in most contracts.
Yes.
I think we've just went full circle.
Yes, so that's what
No, well, we see the problem, and again, I don't like finger pointing, but we see the problem of what's occurred here. An individual or a couple individuals negotiated something, and when you brought it back to the school board, you've got completely 7 different personalities, not to factor in the public. And if you were going to build a home, you would first go, do I have enough money? Whether it's just to start it, to end it, to pay cash for it, then you'd look for a piece of property. And you look for a builder. We kind of did this someone threw 40 million at us, and all of a sudden it looked really, really good. And when you started dropping back and looking at everything, then you had a developer that was willing to come in, because of course he is going to make money and his company is going to make money by building the building and possibly a subdivision with it. Well, everybody was going to make money here, and we didn't take ourselves into consideration on what we're doing. We didn't really pick the location. And so I think if we're going to do this, throw a number at them if you just want to sell the property. But if we're going to do this, why don't we figure out where we would like to build a school or to add on to the schools? Why don't we figure out who's going to do it and what it's really going to cost? How many, and I do agree with Chuck, nobody's enrollment in Genesee County, and even Grand Blancs the last couple of years have tapered off. But nobody's enrollment's growing. It only grows by one feature, and that's stealing or taking children from other districts. The population and the child population, the birth rates, none of them are growing in Genesee County. So we don't need a bigger school unless we just want to bring more children here from other districts and let them fall flat on their face. So we don't need bigger buildings unless we say, this is our enrollment today. We want to maintain this enrollment for the next 50 years. I don't care how we do it. If our school of choice numbers end up at 50%, we're going to have 3,200 kids in this district. I don't think that's really a smart idea. So, how big of a building do we need? Where is it going to be located? Who's going to build it? What's it going to cost? And then maybe we can start having an intelligent conversation on how much money we need. Or just ask for the moon, and if you get it, you get it, and if you don't, you don't. If you're asking for the moon, 50 million is not enough. You don't know what things are going to be. If everyone listens, tariffs are going to continue to go up, and steel's going to go up, and wood's going to go up. Well, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen in 3 years when we're maybe building the building. So we need to get some, but the way this was done, and after watching a video of this, we didn't do this properly. I would have really liked to seen had Rod still been here and have him bring this back to the board, because he's the one that actually went and negotiated the majority of this, and how he was going to sell this to the board. Jim has had this bomb dropped on his head, and I'm not saying Jim didn't have a party, wasn't a party in this, but Jim didn't go dream this up, and Jim's taking a beating for it. And that's why he gets paid so much. But all kidding aside, is how is it going to be sold back here? We don't know. We don't know if it was started out at 50 million and got talked down there. Why was Lurvy even the only builder that sat in on a meeting that, well, this is what we're going to build you? This was fun. That's why there's a policy. Again, I'm going to come back to our policies. The superintendent should act under the guidance of the board. That's not what happened. The superintendent went out and acted on his own and was going to bring something back to the board and go, here's what we're going to do. We did the same thing with the PAC when that was built. 3 elections, new high school, PAC got turned down. New high school, PAC got turned down again. Well, if we're not going to build a new building, we have to maintain our current buildings. What did we do? I voted yes on that millage. As soon as that millage got passed, we started building a PAC, and we took every dime out of that millage. We literally sat here, and Carrie can co-sign this. We had less than $500,000 a year to maintain all of our buildings in the district when the $13.2 million building went up and the cage was purchased. What was supposed to fix our buildings didn't. So then what did we do? In 2018, we come back to the public for a bond, because then we're going to build up our security and we're going to fix up the buildings. Well, that's what you were supposed to do back in 2008. You didn't do it. Not saying we didn't need an auditorium, but we didn't need Taj Mahal. So here we are. Your bond is paid for what that millage was supposed to pay for. Go back and read the language and what you voted for back in, I believe it was 2008, 2007.
2009.
9? Okay. Thank you, Chuck.
They failed 2 millages. They failed 3
whatever we voted on the millage to fix up the district got put in one building. And we had, like I said, so this is what I'm cautious of now. I don't care if we sell Morrish. I don't care if we build a new building. And when I say I don't care, it doesn't mean I care. I'm not pro or against it. But we have to do it right. We can't come back to me. I'm not saying to heck with all of you. I don't want to have to pay another bond or another millage. And what have we done with the millage we just renewed? Oh, we just renewed that millage from 2009. We just renewed it. What's going on with that?
That was from
2018.
18. That was a millage from 18 we renewed.
Oh, we just had one in November.
Yeah,
No,
but
no,
it's from,
18 is what they did is they extended that for 5 years.
Okay.
you said it was from 09. Just correcting. It was 2018.
I was just saying the 2009 was a building and sinking fund. 2018 was a millage to improve the building. And you're completely right.
The one in 18 was a bond. It was not a
Yeah,
millage.
bond. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, bond.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they continued the bond for an additional either 5 or 7 years. I can't remember which now.
All I know is we just renewed something.
That was the bond from 18.
What is that money being used for? Well, and I'm new here too, and I don't either. So join the crowd.
Our webpage has a transparency page on there with pictures and the plan. We have committee meetings and bond meetings.
They do. I mean, but and when I say stuff like that, I apologize because that puts Jim on the spot. So I apologize. But how bad do we need a new elementary school? You know, the one thing I learned in 18 when I was on the school board, I didn't realize, and I'm ashamed of this, I didn't realize how old all of our buildings were. And the newest building in the district is the middle school. And when we did that, I was like, in 25 years, whenever that bond expires, all of our buildings are going to be almost 100 years old. They're going to be between 80 and 100 years old. I know what it's like to go to an old school. The junior high school I went to in the city of Flint was built in 1927, and I was there in 1977. That building was only 50 years old. So, you know, these are the topics we should be having right now. Is what are we going to do in another 20 years? But that's another topic. So I would say right now, either we got to go ask them for an astronomical amount of money, longer being a tenant, and then figure out what we're going to do, or just say no.
I would also suggest that we go back to the 3 bullets: the construct a new facility, build out an existing facility, or merge what we have into a building that might hold 450 students as our starting point. I don't disagree with you, Ken, but we have the control here.
Okay, so we have 3 choices. We do, just like Ken says, we do an astronomical amount. I think we've all agreed to that. Or we just say no, and then we hustle up to our building and property committee and start working on those.
You're saying no, like no sell.
No, I said these. I'm not. No, I'm giving you choices. The choice is the way I see it from the board, and I think we've all agreed on it, kind of more or less, is that we ask for an astronomical amount of money. A, B, we say no. C, there is no C, I guess. We just have
You're
A.
saying say
and B.
nothing right now to them.
Well, there's a deadline. There's a deadline on that agreement. And to be courteous to them, we have to say something. And so we ask for an astronomical amount of money, or we just say no. And then we change gears and we hustle up on our building committee and our property committee to be prepared. So one, if he comes back with another offer, we can make an educated decision if we do decide to sell it that will cover us and the taxpayers. End of story. It's a simple thing. Or do we add on to buildings? I made that motion, or not that motion, that suggestion at the original building committees. If we lose some of the kids' school of choice, or if we gain some kids from school of choice, maybe we add on to 1 or 2 buildings. But once again, I'm still a little worried about my Morrish residents because, I mean, Elms Road, how much farther is that? 3 miles? 4 miles?
It'd be under that, yeah, about 3 miles.
Well, how far back does that side of the district go? At least to Grand Blanc Road, at least to Cook Road, right? It goes up.
We
So
actually go
some
all
of
the
that
way-
might be
we go-
closer to Gaines.
We go to Jennings Road in some parts. So.
No, I mean like south.
Oh, south?
Yeah, at
Oh,
least.
yeah, we go down to Ray. It jogs
Yeah.
in between Fenton and it's
Yeah,
got all sorts of little fingers. So,
and
So what we haven't talked about,
so what
and
do
I
we
know it's
do?
not a popular subject, is if something does come into the 1,200 acres and build,
Right.
I would
Then we leave.
expect that we would have families who would come to the area as well. And that could increase our enrollment.
Yeah, I don't think that would bring people
Hmm.
in, but that's just my opinion. I just,
Are you talking about because of jobs?
Right.
Oh, I understand what you're saying, but I also would not move in this area
yeah.
with that being part of my district. I mean, I'm just like,
Unfortunately, I had two people in my business stay from Lynn Hill, and they're hoping that if it does come in, they can sell their house ahead of time because they think it's a detriment to them. And those are nice houses on Windermere. Well, and then you got Windermere, then you got the back part of Windermere, and they kind of go up in price as you go to the back of the subdivision. And I have a lot of friends that live in Lynn Hill, and I told them I'm not for it or against it, but I'm listening to their arguments. And then maybe, I guess there's a flip side too. Maybe people, it does create a lot of jobs and people do move in and the housing market may go up. I mean, we really don't know that, but I don't know. I don't think a lot of people, and if it's manufacturing or chip companies, I mean, I did the research. Chip companies don't bring in as many workers as what you think, and battery companies, because 90% of the work's robotics and the employees you have are taking care of the machines. So it's not like we're going to have, this isn't a GM Boomtown anymore. You're not going to have 10,000 employees. I wish it would, but I don't think you're going to have 10,000. So I'm not saying that. I'm just devil's advocate, Carrie. So
I understand, but I mean, it's a consideration.
Yeah.
You know, even if we get 100 more kids, it's 100 more kids. We keep talking about declines in enrollment, but anyway, so going back to the 3 bullets, we have different options. Construct a new facility from the ground up, build out an existing facility. We talked about Elms and its close proximity to the folks that live near Morrish now. And then merge the operations, which I believe that means we would condense those students into an existing building without any modification. Anybody think that means anything else?
well, does that mean closing games then?
no,
Is that part of what you
Right.
said?
No. So
Hold on to gains.
if you had, let's just say you could fit students into a building, or maybe you had to split them up between 2 or 3 buildings to split the kids that are currently enrolled in Morrish. Just take the fixed number now. I think it's 450-ish. And you would move it into other buildings that we have.
We could build on the Cyrene too, even. That way it gives the people an option if they have to move or drive a little bit. But let's deal with this one. Are we selling or are we going to ask for 55, 60 million? That's what we're here for today, and then we'll talk about the building stuff at the building committee. Is there anyone want to make a motion?
No, we can't vote here.
Yeah, this committee.
Oh, that's right.
You have enough to vote, but I think it'd be fair to say that.
So but Chuck, to your point, we're giving feedback to Tyler and his team. So
I'm sure they're listening.
Oh, I'm sure. Hi.
They got some minion that's, taping. They're going to say, oh, God, you guys are all crazy. But at the end of the day, we don't work for, God bless Tyler. I don't work for him. I work for the district. That's what I do.
So I'm hearing 50 million. And then going back to the things we know are going to be costs to the district, which is the bond principal repayment, the insurance, and other investments in land if we needed to build versus expand.
Yeah, I would say more like 75.
So what are we going for higher than 50 million?
Yeah. Yes. I just threw that number out there because that's what you did. Because 5 million of it's going to be ate up, Kim. You got to figure 3 to 5 million is going to be ate up in stuff.
Sure.
So even if he gave us 50, now we're down to 45. If you took that, then we're going to be scrambling. So I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe make it a little higher.
And we do have some money is still going to have to go into Morrish during this whole thing. Like we're still going to have to.
Do we have a bond obligation? Do we still have to do that, or can we cease all renovations?
So everything happening there currently, it can be moved, like the HVAC system that was installed can be moved to another building. So it's stuff that can be moved out.
Okay.
Our obligation would be that we have.
Yeah, I know that, but not all the renovations are done though. So do we cease the current
I don't think so.
Okay,
because
all right, that was what I wanted to know.
I think it depends on the number of years. If you're asking for 5 years, that's 5 years that our kids are.
Well, yeah, we're gonna want them to have air conditioning and blah, blah, yeah, all that. Okay,
Plus,
I'm
if that
cool with
50 million goes up, then the distribution of money for the escrow goes up, which means the interest goes up. Right?
Well, the interest would go up, yeah. If we got 55 million, we put 50 million in and 5 million in there, you're going to get Michigan plan, which was what the townships invest in, cities, and a lot of school districts, believe it or not. And they pay normally between 4.25% and 4.5%. So 4.5% of 50 million is 2 million. It's 2.25 million. So 2.25 million we get a year for 5 years. But like I said, I think that you're better off buying a building because that goes up more than the interest rates, especially, nowadays. I don't know if it's going to take a cooling, but
But the point being, if they come back with less than 50, we still have interest money.
yeah, I don't think we take less than 50. That would be the bare minimum. I don't, you can ask us. Listen, we can just say no now.
Just say no. But are you saying a no? Are you saying a no to selling, or we're not making a decision now?
Right. We're not. We're going to discuss that next Monday's meeting. I'm sorry, next Wednesday's meeting. Right? Do we have a full board? And that's a full.
We have a
That's our.
October 22nd. Are you talking about the other committee meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
That's a appoint a member next Wednesday. Yeah. So October 22nd is our normal scheduled board meeting.
Yes, but we're there at 5:00 to do the committee meeting.
Yeah.
New construction, yes.
Well, I think now we don't have to belate this when we come to the open meeting then on the 22nd. We're not going to sit here for 2 hours. I think I hear two things. Ask for 60 million
I'm good with 60.
or no. I mean, that's our choices. There you go.
And
We'll put it to vote. That's the way it works. We'll put it to vote on Wednesday.
I would recommend that we extend the deadline for the evacuation of the building
Yes.
5 years.
Well, if
And they might come back. with less,
if we say the 60 million, then yes, we would put that in there. If the vote goes through for the 60 million. If we say no, it's immaterial, right?
Right.
It's immaterial. There's no sense in it.
Yeah, and how much would you like up front out of that?
It would be 90% or
No,
whatever.
I'm kidding.
That way we could, if he was going to,
If they're doing 5.
we don't even know how much money's left in that fund that the state allocated to them.
Well, again, they have to give it all over at the time of closing, and that's how.
And,
Yeah, that's-
and I would like to see
I
stricter
don't think they have that
parameters as to when they're allowed to access the building and things like that.
Yeah, that's all.
I mean, I'm jumping to the lease agreement again, but things like that. I want a contract for that stuff. Just
So inspection of
so I can
building,
sleep at night.
you want specific times for inspection of building?
Not during school days,
Yeah.
school hours.
After school hours, weekends, something, but
Yeah.
It's always in contracts. You know,
Definitely not.
So am I hearing that for these parameters, am I sending them to him or am I waiting till you vote on them?
I
next?
think we have to wait till you vote on it.
All right.
And that would be safer for you, Jim.
Thank you.
So the other one, Jim, that I would ask that
I'm not saying that to be facetious, but it'd be safer for you. We'll make that, we're going to do one of two things. We're going to say no, or we're going to say whatever money we come up with. At least we're kind of in the ballpark now. We don't have to belate this at a general board meeting for an hour. And we can just get through this and move on.
so there's a penalty for not vacating the property on time.
Yeah,
If
that's
anybody
crazy.
saw that, at $250,000 a month, which
Yeah, no.
it's
Yeah.
unrealistic, but it's to get people out.
Right.
So I'd want to make sure that we have a realistic timeline to hit, or that we all understand that that's a possibility.
No, that's a good idea. Yeah, strike that, Carrie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, because we
We're
need
gonna
a
put something in there, but
Right.
I think
Not
where the
$250,000.
confusion is, and like I said this before, is we had a guy, nothing against them. They came in and said, you get rid of this building, we'll give you this shiny new nickel. And everybody saw the shiny new nickel and they're like, let's jump on. Because I do talk to a lot of people on the opposing side saying, hey, we're getting a new building, Chuck. But I don't think they knew all the strings attached and the extra sewers potentially, the roads, the infrastructure, the ponds. And we didn't even secure land yet. And Gaines Township turned down that land. So that plant is kind of, anyways, even if it would have went through, you'd have to, go to the zoning board of appeals because they turned down the initial.
They only turned it down though for the south. Right. The school wasn't brought up.
Oh, the school wasn't brought up. Thank you. Okay, point of order. Thank you. Point of order. So
I was going to ask you to explain exactly what it was that they were reviewing, Chuck, but that's
the subdivision. I thought the school was in on it, but I think she's right.
okay.
Okay, then.
That's called point of order. Somebody pointed the order, and that is 100% true. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
But that's it from the public. Thank you. Point of order. Yeah, they did. But if they didn't allow the subdivision in there,
All right.
what's to say they're going to let the school right next door to it?
So
Thank you,
the feedback, we need a summary of the feedback for Tyler and his group.
Rent.
And if anybody has any additional questions for our attorney, we need to get
No,
those.
I mean, the
covered.
rent, annual rent is crazy. They say, okay, so you're gonna pay that, and then whatever else is described in here. Like, can't you just give us a number? Like, you're also gonna be responsible for all those, not to mention, what did I say about the repairs?
Was our
the
attorney supposed to be here to write this stuff up so he could put it all in there?
Like, there's so many things that we're responsible, like that number for our rent or for the rent. Yeah, that's not
$1,200.
what.
$120 for
Yeah,
a year.
an annual, but then there's all these other things in here that, like, I don't know. I just want to. I have no idea how much those things cost. Like, but I would like to know. So I knew how much it was going to cost to rent the building while we occupied it, too. Like,
He has a lot of unvariables.
yeah, there's too many
and
variables.
No
Thank
specific
you.
cost.
Yeah.
I would like to know that too. If we do rent it, how much is it going to cost us?
$120 a year.
No, that's not what it says. It's,
If we don't
tenant
leave-
shall pay, oh,
If we don't leave
as-
it on time, there's a $250,000.
tenant shall pay as additional rent, and the additional rent, certain charges designated in this lease. So then there's other charges. So it's not just a rent. It's now we got to pay charges or whatever that means.
I guess, how about keep this really simple? A number that's gonna go into escrow, how much money a month, and a date we have to be out. And if we're not out by that date, then they can throw any number in there they want, 'cause shame on us. But not additional whatever. It's our job to keep the building up. To me, that's, I'm not an attorney. I'm probably not even really a smart guy, but we don't need all those pages to do this. It's really simple. This amount, this date, whatever we agree on an escrow, rent. This is almost like a backwards, what do they call that? Where you act as the bank for
A reverse mortgage.
no, land contract.
Only.
Land contract. It's almost like a reverse land contract, and we're the ones sitting with the building, and we've got all the money. We've given it away, but then we're still paying for it.
And one other thing, I know the next building meeting is on October 22nd. I mean, I know you guys are not going to be happy, but we probably should move that up and start cranking on that. Maybe we should do it next Wednesday, an hour before the board appointment, because I'm feeling like I'm getting rushed, and I think that we just need to be careful, and we need to figure out what we're going to do for a building and property, because a lot of it hinges on that. So let's not wait 2 or 3 weeks, actually 3 weeks. We need to get on that right away. That's probably more crucial right now.
Well, once we sell this building, whoever owns property around here knows they can hold us hostage.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Hey, they got to have property.
Well, no. That if we decide to add on somewhere,
That's true. But if you go to build a new building,
Yeah.
Property values in the thriving metropolis of Swartz Creek Community Schools is going to skyrocket.
So yeah, we better just bump that up to 75.
So Chuck, you're suggesting that we meet prior to our 22nd.
Yeah, you're losing 3 weeks of
But
time.
I think we already
And
have.
that's crucial. I think we need to
Yeah.
move that meeting way up.
So you want to move it up to next week on the 8th?
I'm okay with. Oh no, not.
I don't want to
yeah,
be in a
I can't
rush
be here at 5.
for anything. You know, like I don't think that we got 17 meetings this
We
month.
have our
What about
board
Monday?
candidate
Can anybody do
interviews.
this Monday for an hour?
Monday.
I
Take the time.
can't. I can't.
That would be October the 6th.
And that's the new construction committee?
Yeah, just 1 hour committee meeting. Yeah.
Are we just doing the board appointment?
Yeah,
And there's only 3 candidates?
right. So we could do it after.
We can do it after.
Yeah, do it before or after, either one.
I can't be here. Yeah,
Well, it's
so
already
why don't we
set
just
for
set that
6,
for 6:30?
Okay.
Is that okay, or thereafter?
After.
Yeah, thereafter.
Yeah. Which is 7:30.
Yeah.
'Cause I mean, the folks only had 5 minutes to talk or something like that? I mean, whatever. 8 minutes, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So why don't we do it after that meeting? It's a suggestion. Okay, then let's just do that, because I don't feel comfortable waiting 3-4 weeks to start talking about other things. That's talking about the building committee and the property committee for next Wednesday. And that would be at 6:30 to 7 o'clock, because we have a short meeting from 6 to 6:45.
And we will have a new board member.
We will, that's when we're going to choose a new board member.
They come right up.
Okay.
That's fine. Okay. One quick question. We got French coming. They're coming as a consultant, and we're paying them a consultant fee. Okay. Because they're not going to be. I mean, I'm not saying that they're not going to be, but we have to make a decision. Let them give us some ideas, and then we have to pick architects, builders, all that to give us a price, or maybe they can give us a cost and just wrap it up with them, and then put it out for bids the way we should do it. Thank you.
Do you guys want to still keep the 5 o'clock one on the 22nd also? Because you already have.
Yes, I'm good with that. No, if it's okay with the rest of the board, I like that, Sue, because
Yeah.
I mean, that's still 2 weeks apart, and we're going to have ideas. We're going to have some input in, and I don't think we should be waiting every once a month to meet on this and figure it out. We got to get on it.
And
No,
for,
every couple of weeks would probably be a better
I'm-
cadence
yeah.
at this point.
and for the meeting on the 22nd, no presentations.
Second that.
Well,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about that, but at least limit it to
Again.
like 10 or 15 minutes per presentation. Thank you. Okay, so we're all good.
The 5 o'clock meeting, what would you like it to be called?
It's going to stay the same.
Stay the same?
Yeah.
New construction.
New construction.
And then next Wednesday, great. New construction set up.
Both new construction?
Yep.
Okay.
Could you put / property in case someone finds property?
Yes, I'm going to need help.
Absolutely. I could put /Morrish, /whatever. I can list it all if you want. 'cause you
No.
just- Okay.
No, we want to keep the building and property separate from the sale,
Okay.
because that we can do if we have to negotiate in closed session to get a better deal.
Oh, gotcha. That's great.
You have to do that. Yeah, that way you can do that if we choose
Okay.
to get a better deal. The sale we have to do all in open session.
Love it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue.
So, yeah. So we should buy property before we. Like this is so.
So did you get all that, Sue?
That's a good investment.
Got all of it?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Any other comments on this? Just give feedback. Are we ready to give feedback?
The insurance thing is throwing me a curveball too. I don't like it.
We need
I know.
process.
Right.
We pay for insurance now, but we need to
Yeah.
what it's going to cost us when we're not the owner.
Yeah, that's another cost that's
Yes.
like a variable. Like, and not only that, but I don't know.
We could.
I don't like having somebody else's name on the insurance policy. I guess I get the.
Well, they're going to have their own insurance on the structure. If it burns down, it's their structure.
Well, that
But
says
it's
that
our
that would be
belongings.
our job.
Our
too.
belongings and
Our
liability.
belongings and liability is what we have to protect.
Just like if you rent a house,
Yeah.
they insure the house. You're renting. I mean, if you buy insurance for liability, and
Personal property.
Yeah, personal.
We're just gonna get renter's insurance. Pretty
Basically.
cheap.
I don't know if it's going to be, but
All right.
You say so.
Right. I'm a school.
Why don't you just
Here
cut a
we
check
go.
for it then if it's so cheap? You got 2 jobs.
I'm poor, man.
Okay.
All right.
We're good.
Okay, we're good. All right, now we can move on to,
Public comment.
yes, public comment.
And you're limited to 1.5 minutes.
What's our response? What's our response?
We're going to vote on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
If
okay.
you'd like to address the board, please
Yeah.
come forward to the podium, state your name, and keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, please.
I will definitely try that. Denise Smith, Swartz Creek, Lindenwood Farms, right across the street from Morrish School. I don't know when they threw this at you, whether or not you guys saw a site plan for a proposed school, or it was just the amount of money they were offering and the square footage. But has anybody thought about if they had to build a new school, what the needs would be, how it would be laid out? All that's going to determine costs. And as you mentioned, you can gain interest, but at the same time, the cost is going to go up on anything that you do. The second question I would have is, this whole project with the mega site and getting rid of the school to plow it down is all aesthetic. It's to make the property look more attractive to a potential buyer. And that's it. And they have talked to many people out of their homes with this beautiful sales pitch. And they're doing the same thing here. Lurvy is in cahoots with the Flint Economic Development. They've also got their hands over in here. They're out into Gaines Township saying that they have nothing to do with Tyler Rossmuller and stuff. But I know that they're going to move those homes over there and build a sub behind it, or apartments behind it. And everybody knows this is all people making money, and it's a sales pitch. That is Tyler's job, and the Flint and Genesee Economic Development. That is their job, to sell that property to a potential buyer, which they don't have. And here we are talking about demolishing a school within a certain period of time to make them happy. When we don't know what it's going to cost you to build a new school. We don't know what we're going to do with the students that are at that school. And then they have the audacity to put a timeline on you. How about the day you sign a purchase agreement to buy that property, you have a buyer, we'll sign our agreement to sell you the school. Simple.
Yeah.
The Michigan Committee for Oversight Committee on Corporate Subsidies and Corporate Welfare has had many hearings on this thing, and they're not happy. It's just been introduced to the House that passed to shut down SOAR. SOAR funds the MEDC, who funds the Flint and Genesee Economic, and the Mackinac Center has suggested that they do away with MEDC as well, because it has not served the Michigan residents of the billions of dollars that they've wasted of taxpayers' dollars all over this state trying to push these things. Great. We all want jobs. We all want the economy to grow, but at what expense? They've taken no consideration to anybody in the community when they decided to do this, and they ain't taking any consideration of your school district while they're doing this as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Anyone else?
That brings us to a third bullet point.
Robin Seeley, 7503 Grove Street. One of the things I want you to think about when you're asking for this moon, okay? Grew up in this area, graduated with Andrea in 90. I spent my first 15 years in Vegas, where we built 5 elementaries, a middle school, and high school every single year. And in that process, some of them were tear downs to rebuild a school. We were not allowed to take the curriculum from the old building and move it into that brand new state-of-the-art school. So think about the money you want for a curriculum. You don't want to take your old pocket chart that's ripped and the books that are missing pages into that state-of-the-art school. Add curriculum money to what you want. Don't take old stuff for those kids.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Name's Rick Bush from Swartz Creek. Everybody knows me, but I have a couple of questions or comments. Gaines turned down the subdivision because of lot size. That's the only reason. He can come back anytime with bigger lots and move the houses from down on Maple Road down there. But also, somebody should go to Lake Fenton. That's a brand new school. See how much it costs them per square foot to buy land, build a property. I'm sure they would be more than happy to tell you, oh, we're proud of this brand new school. It only cost us $13 billion, you know. But, and also, I think we ought to have the government in on this discussion. Let our representative to Lansing know what's going on, where our problems are. There, we have a person that is trying to get us out of the mega site, which he's doing a pretty good job. Every day there's another house taken out. Every house that they take out is money out of our pocket. They're building in Mundy Township. But also Mundy Township's taking a vote on bringing the buses from City of Flint to the Myers just down the street. So there comes more kids on the bus. But I think there's more avenues to look at other than just what are we going to get for it? You know, we're seeing that big dollar figure. Let's not look at the dollar figure. Let's look at the people. You know, what can we do for the students? These students need an education. They need a new school. But at what cost? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bush.
Thank you.
I'm Heather Loney, 5152 South Morrish, class of 89, 24 years at Swartz Creek Schools. I've taught at 4 of 5 elementary schools, and I'm a union leader too. So it's just a good thing to throw in. Solidarity. And I got to go because I got some early classes to teach. But first, I want to thank you all for your service. I always say that if I come for public comment. I appreciate what you're doing. You have to make hard calls and stand for things, even when people throw eggs at you. Also, okay, like we can't put 750 children in a building. Like the fire marshal, that's banana pants. I'm assuming it's a fire number. We can't. Whatever we do, I trust you. I believe you'll work in our best interest, but don't do that. Don't do that. Okay? Okay. All right. I love you, Carrie. Bye.
Thank you, Heather. Anyone else?
Jenny Mulguest, Swartz Creek resident. I was just going to say, because I know that part of what you were talking about was the proximity of Morrish and Elms. Right now, the way it is, any of the kids that go to Morrish also go to Elms. So those kids are already having to make that journey up there eventually. So that might be another thing to consider too, is the structure of the upper and lower elementaries and kind of reworking that whole thing. But having those, talking about, those Morrish families having to go up to Elms, they already will right now. So that's not a big concern. And also, thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Anyone else?
Hello. My name is Chris Hall. I'm a taxpayer in the school district. I have 3 children enrolled in the school district. My wife and I have volunteered in various capacities in the school district. I also graduated from the school district, and I went to Morrish actually too for a couple of years. So it's safe to say that I'm pretty heavily invested in the success of this school district. Now, in order for a school district to be successful, it needs a school board that knows the vital role that it plays and executes the task needed to fill that role. And broadly, I think the school board has two main functions: to ensure the students of the school district have an opportunity to get a great education and to maintain the financial well-being of the school district. Make sure the students have a great opportunity to learn and don't go broke. Now, of course, there are a number of tasks and functions that fall under those two categories, but at a high level, I think those are the two things that are your focus. The school board should always work hard to maintain that focus and not get distracted by things that are not part of the board's responsibility. This brings me to the mega site. Simply put, when it comes to the mega site, it's important to remember that this school board has no role in anything to do with the mega site, with the exception that the district owns land that the mega site wants to buy. And they're willing to pay enough for the property to allow the district to build a brand new elementary school at no additional cost to the district or its taxpayers, period. Now, the board should evaluate the offer, do your due diligence, and get the best deal you can and move forward with a decision. What the board should not do, however, is get distracted by and pulled into the community's fight to stop the mega site. That's not your job. When I hear discussion about this topic from the board and I hear comments like, we should wait and see who the buyer is first, or how do we know it'll actually happen, that kind of talk makes me think what you're trying to do is use the school district and its students as a pawn in community politics. Now, members of the community can certainly be against a mega site. That's their right. And each of you personally can hold that same view. That's your right too. But as a school board, it's not your right and is a gross abuse of your power to use your position to drag the school district into this fight. And any member of the community who thinks the school district should be used as a pawn in this fight, shame on you. Don't waste the school board's time with something that has nothing to do with their mission. Go take that up with your local, your state, or your federal representatives. Once again, the district has an offer to buy property they own. They should evaluate that through the prism of what is best for the education of the students and what's best financially for the district. That's it. If any member of the board believes the district should get involved in anything else to do with the mega site, then they should resign and go run for a township board position or some other position where they could possibly affect the mega site. And we can get somebody else in that chair to actually do the work of a school board member. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Anyone else? All right. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was trying to decide if I was going to speak or not. My name is Shelley Thompson. I am a resident. My mailing address is Swartz Creek. I do technically live in Clayton Township. Still Swartz Creek Schools. I am a taxpayer, have been for 23 years now. So, I came here. I watched the board meeting online. Sorry, kids, can't get here all the time. But you board members, you have a duty. I went through the FOIA. There was a bunch of emailed documents and whatnot. And according to the things that are already out there, $40 million is about max what they're willing to pay for Morrish School. It is a, how old? 75-year school. So you have the ability to look at, you were offered $40 million for a building. I understand it's more than a building. There's kids go there. You can move the kids. We have other buildings that we can shuffle those kids to. We don't necessarily have to build a new building. You met before to come up with committees to supposedly you were going to look around the area to find where you could build a building. And apparently that wasn't done. Who's on that committee and what were they doing? Because I know I did a little bit of research. I found multiple spaces that would work. That's your job. As the gentleman said before, it's not up to, when I heard let's see who comes in. Let's see who they sell it to. That's not your job. Your job is to evaluate your offer. You were offered $40 million for a school. If you want to counter offer, at least be educated about it and the whole, let's do 50, no, 60, 75, you need to be educated. I've sold properties, I've bought properties. I think all of you have bought and sold properties before. You didn't just go in and look at a property and say, oh, well, I'll give you this for it. You have to pay attention. You have to make reasonable offers. That's your job as a school board. You're not stopping the mega site. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If you wait too long, are you okay to have an elementary school next to a mega site? You don't know if it's coming, you don't know if it's not, but that's one of the decisions you need to make, and it's $40 million. I, for one, as a taxpayer, can tell you, if you just say, nope, you know what, we don't want that, don't come to me in 5 years and say, oh, well, we need to build a new school. You had money offered to you, and for whatever reasons decided that money is not good enough. That's not fair. That's not diligent. If you think for certain that the school is worth $60 million, not based on what money you think is available in that pot, the MEDC pot, then make that argument, but have an argument, not just, you can't just pull it out. So, thank you.
Thank you, Shelley. Anyone else? Going, gone. Okay. Let's move on to committee comments. Anyone?
Wouldn't that,
No?
well, wouldn't that be a third point though? I'm just asking, like, okay, Chuck says we got 2 bullets, right? We got ask for more, which is the 60. We got no. And then we've got yeah. Well, it can sit there. It can function as a school. I don't know. If someone does come in, like, okay, we want to talk about, you don't want to have a school next to a factory, but then we're not also going to say, well, why wouldn't we just sell to the factory? You know what does that make sense? I don't know if I'm making sense.
Well, she's saying if a factory did go there and they needed to buy her 13 acres, would we get more money? I don't know.
Like, no, I'm saying, like, if we're so concerned about operating a school next to a factory, right?
Okay.
Then who's to say that that factory or whatever it is buys the land? Like, I don't know. It seems like it's being weighed on one side, but not the other. Like, we're weighing it as a bad thing. We don't want a school near it, but we're not weighing it as another out, if you will, another option to.
So we sit back and wait and see if they come. We're playing roulette with our kids
Right.
next to it or not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Either way, yeah, it's roulette, I guess. I don't know. I don't know.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so some people talk, they were up here, and I listened to everybody's comments, and I wrote them down. Well, we do have a due diligence. We have a due diligence. Somebody said, oh, about financial. We have a due diligence to protect this district's financial standing. And I brought it up months ago because this was dropped on my lap after we asked, we have an offer, and we were told there was no offer. So we could have got ahead of this instead of behind it and getting in quicksand. 2 is that somebody comes to you and says, hey, I'm going to build you a house, sell your house, and here's the new house I'm giving you, and I'm just going to move it onto that house without any questions. You could do that. I'm not going to do that for the district, okay? Because I want to know what I'm putting my kids in, what kind of materials in it, what's going to be there. I know it's all up to standard code and stuff, but you know what? I'm not taking the shiny nickel that somebody threw out in front of my plate and said, just take this, don't worry about it. I do worry about it for the long-term vision of the district. Now short-term. 3 is, everybody's saying the school district is 75 years old. There's buildings that are 300, 400, 500 years old. Brick buildings last if you put good roofs on. We have flat roofs. I've been trying to get the roofs changed. There was a lot of money that was misused, not misused, no, a bad term. There was a lot of money that didn't go into the maintenance of the buildings for the last 20 years. And they're going to be asking you for another millage in a year and a half. And they're going to say, we need another building and sinking fund millage when they use that building and sinking fund money to put into something else. When they could have did it to upgrade the roofs, HVAC, windows, parking lots, which you're doing with bond money now. I can show you all the documents. I'm sure Somebody will post it online soon to show you that part of it if you really want to look at the facts. We're all here for these kids. I've been complaining about education. My goal is education. I've said it. So obviously you're not listening to some of the tapes. Education, safety, and being fiduciary well. I've said it 100 times at these meetings. People are starting to show up now, but I've been saying it for 7 years, being fiduciary responsible. So for me to run in and sell a school, I'm not saying it's a good idea or a bad idea. I told you I'm not for it. But before I jump and make that decision for our entire district, you do have to use due diligence and figure out what is going on. Okay? There's a lot. It's just not, hey, here's a house, move out of your house, move into this house. And in 10 years from now, if that building's falling apart or something's happened, then you'd be blaming what? This board. So we're being cautious, and I don't care what the rest of them do, but I'm going to be cautious on it. And I think we have a game plan. Because remember, May I asked the question, what's going on? And nobody knew anything. And then June 25th, I was told, oh, we have a proposal, and here it is, Chuck. We've already did the buying, the selling, and the property, and don't worry about it. Sign your name here. Is that the type of board member you want? Then come on up, because I don't want that type of board member. And if you do, you're a fool. So, with that being said, we are moving forward. You just heard us say that we're going to try to get this going. And you heard some ideas. These are ideas. We're going to vote at the meeting. I would prefer, if I could, get a shiny new school, as long as it's up to specs for my kids. My grandkids will be coming here soon. So with that being said, that's, I think, where we're at on this. And I think everybody's here on that. And if they're not, then we'll have some discussion later on that. But I think that everybody here is going to do that. But I encourage the public to come to the building committee to give us ideas. Because I think I brought it up to building committee. Maybe we could put the money in other buildings. But at the other end, if you guys say, well, this is the whole crappy building, well, then all the buildings are the same age, basically. So don't use that argument. It's all about maintenance. Buildings will last. Go to Europe. They got brick buildings that are 400, 500, 600 years old. Why is that? Because they put peak tiled roofs on it. They last forever. School teachers know that, especially my history teachers. If they don't, then we'll have to give them a little discount on history. So with that being said, these buildings can last for a long time if due diligence is done in maintenance. And when you shift money from maintenance and use them for pet projects, then they screwed the public, because you authorize money for one thing, and then your board, look in the history, I've got the documents, have used it for something else. So we're in a predicament now where we're playing catch up. And I wish I'd have been on the board several years ago. And a lot of this stuff is not sometimes shared. Jim's pretty good at sharing things now. And we're going to move forward and make sure the district is safe, secure, and more importantly, we have a good education, because our education is lacking for our children currently. I'm not saying it's going to be that way forever, because we have some people in place that are going to do that, but that's off point. So with that being said, I encourage everybody to come to next Wednesday's meeting. Help me with the time again, because I'm confused. 7 o'clock. Not 5, 7.
6 o'clock for the new board member, 7 for the...
And give us your ideas, because that's a committee talk, and we can have people say, hey, Chuck, and who was the lady that said she found 5 properties?
Thompson.
Do share after the meeting, please.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, do share where there's 9 or 10 acres that can be reasonably bought. They don't charge us $39 million. We have $1 million left to build a school. Thank you, Shelley, for that.
With sewer and water.
With exits on 2 roads.
I don't care about that.
Place for you.
And if we do build a school, everybody hasn't thought about this, but we build a school. The reason why they picked the mega site was because of 3 things. Genesee County is very unique. I knew this as a young policeman. We have 3 highways that run through it. We're the only county in Michigan that has 3 highways that run through it, 69, 23, 75. We have an international airport, and we have 2 major trunk lines. So even if we do build another school, I really don't want it next to a train yard, but a lot of the property that we're looking at is going to be by a train yard. So all their stuff that they bring in and out, something happens, our kids go bye-bye. And I don't want that to happen either. So I have to consider that if we do build a new school, to stay far enough away from a railroad track. But if you look anywhere in this geographical area, which I've lived in for 48 years, there's train tracks everywhere. So I don't know if they say, oh, you want a mega site next to your school? Okay, you're going to build it at Morrish And at the grain elevator, what's there, guys? What goes by every 47 minutes? Go by there and look. What's at Hill and Morrish? What's at the mega site? So if you say, oh, we're going to do this to save our kids from the mega site, that stuff's getting pumped up and down the railroad. Every 47 minutes, a train goes by. I-60, yeah, they don't know this. I-69 is a major thoroughfare with all sorts of trucks. They're still going to get hurt anyways. So I think about that stuff. And then you got planes flying in and then overhead. So there's a lot of stuff that this board has to consider before just saying, dropping a pin and here it goes. Or maybe it might be the safest place where it's at. If you think about it, depending on what they're bringing in and what they're bringing out. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
On that, the mega site also owns acreage that touches the railroad. They own on the north side of Maple as well.
But I'm just saying, if we built this school down here and people like, oh, it's going to be safe, that's a falsehood.
No, I just remembered the point I was making. The new people that are coming, they're not going to go up overnight. So this group that's trying to buy Morrish right now, I'm under the. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Sue. They oh shoot, I lost it again. Oh no, they.
Take a deep breath.
Okay, they are just preparing the land. They are not building the new company. So at the end of the day, even if we don't sell now or ever or whatever, the company that comes in, it's not going to go up overnight. We're going to have empty field behind us until that goes up.
Right.
So that's something to think about too, and that would give us. Yeah.
And somebody said about zoning, I think the gentleman did, Chris, or Mr. Bush did, somebody did. We don't know what Monday Township's going to do because they're pumping. And that's not our business. You're 100% right. It's not our business whether we build the mega set or not. But it is our business now because they thrust our kids into it. And that's a decision that this board has to make on, that. So, but you're 100% right. We don't know what's going to happen.
It could take 10 years to build. Like, we don't know.
We could have a nice playground there.
Well, the property that was sold in Duran 10, 15 years ago is still vacant.
Yes, that was you're 100% right, Ken. I forgot about that.
Project.
They were going to do a project energy plan.
Correct.
And they were going to burn something there, and everybody raised heck, and I think it went away. Because a lot of people have sold houses in Gaines Township because they were afraid of the smoke that was going to, because the westerly wind would have messed them up. So, anyways.
The other thing in reference to the cost or the amount of money our school's worth, I don't think one house that has been sold in that area has been sold at its true value. Everything has been inflated. And so our property's not worth $40 million. It's probably not worth $10 million. The point of it is we have to base the value of that property on what it's going to cost to build something new. Again, we can't keep coming to people for millages and bonds and millages and bonds. That's not how you do you run your house like that? You got millages and bonds making your payments? You got 4 or 5 jobs because you got to make your payments? That's not how you run your house. You run your house, man, we can't afford that new roof this year. I gotta wait. Oh, I can't buy that new car. Gotta wait. So in our situation here, we have the opportunity to build a new building. And if we can get to a break-even point with it, whatever that number is, that's an excellent idea. However, it's not I don't care about the people in the Mundy Township area near this. I don't know you. I don't need to know you to say I care. I feel sorry for you. I grew up in the city of Flint. Where my grandmother lived was almost a stone's throw from Buick Complex. I can tell you all about a mega site, okay? The Buick Complex was almost 3 miles long. So, I don't care again, but that's a moot point with me. I lived on top of it. What we have to look at is when you talk about building houses around something like that, nobody built houses up and down that corridor the houses went away. Well, you can Google a time frame of St. John Street area between the river and the Buick plant. That all went vacant. No one builds a house next to a plant. Nobody in their right mind anyway. So if you look at all the building that's going on in that area in Flint right now, it's because the Buick complex is a flat piece of concrete. And they are building houses over there. I still wouldn't buy one over there, but they're building them. But no one's going to build a house next to an industrial site. How many houses have went up by the train yard and the airport? None. So that's not going to happen. So as far as there being new houses, that's not. Also, like I said, we have an aging community. We have a community that's not reproducing at the rate it was 50 years ago. Google childbirths. Google all this. It's not hard to find. The only reason our enrollment has stayed the same is because of school of choice. It's the only reason. Years ago, we were at about 5 or 10%. Now we're at 25%. That's how we've maintained an enrollment. Again, it's not how you'd run your house. You need some more money, so you're going to have a couple more kids, so your welfare goes up. No one does that. That's not how you're going to support your home. And that's exactly what we're doing, is we're bringing in more and more children for an FTE. That's all what we're doing. So I think we have to realistically look at the trends. Jim Blow, who was here, he brought this up years and years and years ago about birth rates and how our enrollment was going to decline. Problem of it was, when Jim was here last, school of choice wasn't what it is today. You can't just rob every kid from the school district adjacent to you or that wants to come here. Just think about these things. We're not getting bigger. This county's not getting bigger. So let's build something that's realistic for our residents that support this district through bonds and millages. Keep in mind that 25%, they don't chip a coin into here. They don't live here. They don't pay our taxes. That's one of the things that I find very troubling about it.
Andrea, did you have anything?
Just maybe the third bullet point you're trying to get to is we can sell and not build a building and put that money into sinking fund. We could put the money into other buildings. That is an option with declining birth rates. That is a third option. No one has really talked about this, right? Yeah, we absolutely could sell and do that. Right, if that was an option, that is an option as well too. So I appreciate the feedback from everyone.
Everybody had good ideas. Everybody gives you something else to think about from different angles.
Right.
It's just 10 minds are better than one mind.
I mean, none of us up here, I think, want to make this decision. Nobody up here developed the mega site. None of us want to make this decision, but we have to decide what is best for our kids. Sorry, it's really dry in here. I forgot my water. What's best for our kids and for our community as a whole. And I've heard from people too, if we turn down this money that could eventually go into our building sinking fund, I was flat out told I'll never vote for another millage for you again if you waste this money. So
it'll save the millage.
It's an option. It's just something else.
We could have the 3 best old schools in the world here. Then if we put that kind of into it, I'm okay.
Exactly what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. Little extension, steel roof. They'll look like $1 million bucks. They'll last for 50 years.
So that is just something else we have to consider as well too. Is not.
Excellent idea.
Kim. Yeah, I just, this is totally off topic, but I just wanted to mention what happened at our last board meeting when we selected a new board member. Are we all in agreement on how we're going to do that this time? Do we want to do it the same way we did it last time?
I'm with Chuck over here. Do it the same as last time.
Okay, that's so. So we listen to everybody and pick our top 2. Is that what?
Even though there's 3, yeah.
Okay.
Good. All right. Thanks to everybody for your time tonight. I know this isn't our first or last meeting for a while. It seems like we spend more time together than we do with our families lately, and will continue. I do have a printed copy of the schedule that we agreed upon with the search firm that I will hand out to everybody, that she sent the day after we met. Thanks to everybody in the audience who's here. I see.
Carrie, I have one more thing. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Is this online? Can we put this online so everybody can see it, and then they can at least look at it and see what's going on? Because we talk about it, and it's a public document. So will we get in any trouble doing that?
I don't think so, but
let's put it out. I'm sorry, Sue.
Yeah.
So. Well, because you're the one that's going to put it out online.
No,
you're the one that's going to feed it to the copier, put it out.
Going to help me do that.
I would suggest that we ask Bill for clarification.
Yeah, but I'd like the public to see.
We already kind of clarified that, I thought.
I don't. I think it's legal, but I just
It's
no,
legal.
not the attorney.
Yeah, no, not the.
No, just the
This
purchase.
is legal.
Yeah.
All right. So
That's the hard way.
I'm sorry,
see.
Carrie, on your.
That's okay. I see folks. They always seem to sit in the back of the room. People who represent our educators and our support staff, and I want you to stand because we don't give you enough appreciation. Come on. Thank you. I also know that many of you, if not all of you, are from Morrish or the area or supporting those who are. And I was able to go to the literacy night last night. It was amazing. Really, really well done. And I had so much fun. I wanted to do some of the activities the kids were doing, but I also thought it was great that the kids were telling their parents what they've learned and showing them. And I learned, is Mrs. Camo here? I learned about heart words last night. You remember them by heart because it doesn't make sense always. Like the word said. S-A-I-D, said. A-I doesn't make sense until you learn that it's by heart. So we'll learn more about that, I'm sure. But it touched my heart because I saw the parents and the kids going, oh, I get that. But thank you. Thanks to all of you because I know it was a long day yesterday and it's a long day today. So I just wanted to point that out. That's all. So with that, I would entertain a motion. Thank you. Second?
Yes, second.
Any all in favor say aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.